Share it on Facebook also, okay? Laliji, you can make me the host.
First, I'll play
Yeah.
the video, then I'll.
Yeah. So I'll just start and then I'll invite you in 2 minutes. Okay. Good evening, everyone. And here we are on the platform of Metamorphosis. A wonderful, happy new year to each one of you, east, west, north, south, all over the country, globally. We are here again, another break, another new beginnings, new starts, new learnings for the year 2024. So over to amazing lessons in terms of education, in terms of parenting, in terms of counseling, and well, broader perspective for this new amazing journey. And before I start the session of today, I extend my warm wishes to each one of you for being an active members of Metamorphosis and taking part in all the sessions and being contributory part as the speakers. So I would like to tell my technical help to just show the song of Metamorphosis and then I'll call my speakers ahead.
Yes,
So Lalita, you can start the song here.
अगर कोई कर सकता है तो मैं क्यों नहीं, क्या है उनमें ऐसा जो मुझ में नहीं। अगर कोई कर सकता है तो मैं क्यों नहीं, क्या है उनमें ऐसा जो मुझ में नहीं। झांक ले अपने भीतर खुद से आ पूछ ले, कैसी चाहे जिंदगी खुली आंखों से देख ले। मुट्ठियों को भींच गए, सांसों को खींच गए, मुट्ठियों को भींच गए, सांसों को खींच गए। सबसे टकराने को, शिखर पर जाने को मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ। मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ। मुश्किलें हो कैसी भी मेरे हौसलों से कम है, अंधेरों को चीर देंगे इतना दम है। मुश्किलें हो कैसी भी मेरे हौसलों से कम है, अंधेरों को चीर देंगे इतना दम है। आओ हाथ बढ़ाएं, कुछ करके दिखाना है, सारे बहानों को आज से आग लगाना है। मुट्ठियों को भींच गए, सांसों को खींच गए, मुट्ठियों को भींच गए, सांसों को।
Thank you so much, Lalita. So thank you, Lalita. Yeah. So over to the topic of today is what is actually there is not being seen and what is being seen is not required in the education system. So what are we as educators and what are we as parents hoping for? What do the children need in the education system and what do the teachers and the educators of the next generation need for a better learning system? And as we move forward for this wonderful session on the topic, the roadmaps in education. What is actually the meaning of roadmaps in education? A student educational roadmap helps guide the student throughout the educational process. It can be used to help the student understand various concepts and ideas in the curriculum and motivate them towards their respective fields of study. No one should doubt the severity and the scale of the crisis confronting public education and the extent to which they are having an impact on student learning. Historic declines in student achievement and enrollment, anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts at epidemic levels among youth, culture wars that feed off and further exacerbate lost trust and plummeting confidence in our public schools. All while we continue to recover from a pandemic, COVID laid bare the tremendous responsibilities we place on schools and a relative lack of information on access to essential opportunities. While it's currently uncommon for the states to systematically collect opportunity to learn data, there are models to emulate. For example, there are educators, there are motivators, there are counselors all over the world now helping educators empower themselves through their own ways of learning, own ways of empowerment techniques. And just like the National Assessment of Educational Progress asked test takers to indicate whether they had access to opportunities that impact results, like a computer, a quiet place to study at home, and teachers they could ask for help when they struggled. So here we are on this topic, a roadmap to education. At the start of the journey of 2024 on metamorphosis, let us hear from the speakers of today what is actually the right roadmap in education, what changes can be implemented, what techniques can be taken into consideration to create a perfect roadmap in education in the school, in the house, through parents and through educators, in society at large. So I welcome Sri Vidya Mohan ma'am as a parenting coach, as she has been empowering parents, creating more change making techniques to adapt and adopt those skills so that children learn at home the same way as they are learning in the school. So over to you, Srividya ma'am, for this wonderful topic of roadmaps in education.
Yeah, thank you, Sonal ma'am. Thank you, Metamorphosis, for giving me this opportunity to start 2024 with such a beautiful topic, roadmaps to education, because very, very relevant topic, and I'll be covering the topic of IQ and EQ in classroom. Okay, how important it is and how necessary it is, and how is it possible to integrate IQ and EQ in classroom, and how effective it can be. So wishing everybody a happy new year. And yes, so as the topic says, IQ and EQ in classroom. So we'll start with a very basic thing. What is IQ? What is EQ? In simple words, IQ is intelligence, EQ is the wisdom to use that intelligence. Okay, so this is what, in a summary, if we understand, this is IQ and EQ. So IQ, we have the syllabus, we have all the systems, like, all types of syllabus we have. And schools are doing a wonderful job in incorporating all kinds of knowledge for the child. How is the child going to use it? Okay, unless and until the child also has that emotional resilience and emotional intelligence, it will not be effectively use the IQ. So and for a teacher, the classroom, okay, is the best opportunity to balance IQ and EQ. The reason being, group therapy works. Okay, classroom is a group. So the teacher need not actually do it on an individual basis, because all children, they are born in a particular, all children. There is one thing common for each and every child. They all want to belong to a group. And teachers can make maximum advantage of it. The moment there is classroom management, the moment the class feels I am one among the group, that is where the emotional quotient starts. So how can teachers bring in over that? Okay, the first thing is, the most important thing a teacher should understand and implement is the concept of neuroplasticity. The reason is how learning process happens. IQ, we know, repetitions, test, revision, we make sure that the child learns the subject. Okay, whether it is multiplication tables or trigonometry, right from primary school to 10th or university level. How do kids learn? One, they understand the concept, they revise it. Then why do we have exams? Because then they repeat it again. Okay, so that is how learning happens. And emotional intelligence also works in the same principle. Very small example. Okay, there is one child who never does homework, whatever it is. Okay, homework is never complete. Parent teacher meeting, complaints are there. Write a note, send the child to the principal, or make the child stand out, or give extra punishment. End result, the child is not doing punishment. Do we ever give it a thought? Why is the child not doing the homework? Very simple reason. There is no data in the brain for the child for having completed the work. If the data is not there, the child is not going to do it, because as long as the memory bank is concerned, homework is not to be done. So once the teacher or the parent, especially the teacher, once they understand this, then the focus is, okay, this child has already learned not to do the home. There is a learning over there. How to give an achievable target and make sure the child experiences the joy of completing a work. Okay, so then what the teacher will do, no judgment in the classroom also. See what happens, why you didn't do the homework, or today also you have not completed the homework. The child is okay. The child is, because for the child, this is all acceptance. Okay, but the moment you understand the learning has happened through repetition, the teacher changes the question. How can I help you? I want you to complete the homework. How can I help you? This is the first lesson a child gets from a teacher on emotional intelligence. Okay, how can I help you? So what happens? You're not talking about the past. It is for the child to get that strength. Okay, whatever I've done is done. There is a way that I can go ahead. The child gets that confidence or that courage to open up, or feel that I'm in a safe environment. Somebody is asking me, how can I help you? Okay, initial, and again, every child is different. And no shoe size fits all. Okay, the teacher has to make a decision at that particular time, depending upon the experience of the child and the learning that has happened. The child may or may not respond immediately, but the teacher can continue with the same thing. How can I help you? Okay, and the child may not reply, then also you simplify it for the child. The goal of the teacher should be, how do I make sure the child at least completes something, so that I can put it in the memory bank, that when I get a work, I need to complete it. 10 times I complete it, automatically the child will start doing it. So this is how the understanding of neuroplasticity would help teachers to make a decision in the classroom. Okay, it could be behavior issues also. Even behavior, it's a learned habit. Okay, the child who is always raising the hand, or who's always jumping in the class, why is the child not sitting down? Because the child has never done it. So it will not do it, because the repetition is happening based on past experiences. So then the teacher can immediately switch. And how the teacher deals with the child is a lesson of emotional intelligence for the entire class. How a teacher talks, how the teacher is talking to a misbehaving child,
Exactly.
others learn from it. Okay, how do we deal those things? Okay, so the teacher is not saying, okay, now supposing this is a very common example, a child distracting the class, either it will just start laughing or put pencils down or disrupt the entire class. Okay, don't ever throw the child out of the class, because once the child is out of the class, it's very difficult to bring it in. Don't ever give the punishment like get out of the class. Make sure the child stays inside the class. Bring the child closer to you. So what happens? You have noticed it. The child understands, okay, something I've done is not within the group norms. So what the teacher tells the child is, this is a group norm. Okay, the entire class is following it. So you, as the member of a group, you should also do it. Not pinpointing the child as an individual. Why you didn't do it? Why this? So the group, our class is going to do this. So every time the teacher, even when she's addressing the child, the words the teacher can use very simple. Our class. We are not even saying the class. We are saying our class. Our class has decided that we'll all do this. How can I help you, so that you are also completing it with our class? So these kind of small doses would help the child to learn emotional intelligence. Okay, I'll give some examples, some more things which the teachers can use practically as to how to incorporate. First thing, the teacher should always have in the mind, how much time do I devote to a child who's distracting the class? Ideally, it should not be more than 5 minutes. Because if you devote more time to one child, all the other children are learning that, because attention seeking behavior, and they escape, and this child. So ideally within 5 minutes, if it is not solved, you need to do it in another way. Just ask the child to come and sit next to you. Okay, give anything. You can even give copywriting, or just open the textbook and tell, okay, copy this 10 pages. Simple. So that this child is not distracting the entire class, and you're not humiliating the child. Okay, and the other children also are learning it. So the child is not out of the classroom, the child is within the circle, but at the child is also not getting it. So 5 minutes is the maximum time a teacher should devote to a child who is distracting the class, and use the words our class, not you. You should be out. Why you did this? Why are you disturbing the class? No. Our class has a portion to finish today. Okay. Can you please come and sit here? So you're not telling anything. Without blaming the child, the teacher can do it. And then they slowly follow suit. And then where this is something which teachers have to do it in a very subtle manner. They should always try to understand whether there is uniformity of materials used, like pencil, rubber, or the pencil box, or the books which the kids are using in classroom. There is no harm in bringing uniformity in the materials used in the classroom, because that is the starting point of distraction. Okay, my pencil, and it is never my pencil. Biggest thing a teacher can do is stop saying your pencil, my pencil. Discourage the kids from saying it's my rubber, my pencil box, my bag, my book, the book, because parents are buying it, you're only using it. It is not a child's book or a toy or a pen or a pencil. Parents buy them so that they can use it. So the moment we start addressing the pencil, the book, instead of your pencil, my pencil, anything the child owns, the child does not own it. The child is using it. That starts from the classroom. So when the teacher is communicating also, and it is quite okay, it is not about being judgmental or anything. Just to avoid distraction in class, all the children will use same type of things, like no fancy things in the classroom. Okay, because even one pencil box which is high tech, the classroom can get disrupted. So we can say the teacher can appreciate, oh, this is a very nice classroom, but our class has a rule, our class follows a norm. So you can keep it inside your bag and use a regular pencil. So what they do outside the school, the teacher is not judging. Inside the classroom, the teacher is bringing uniformity. The main lesson the child gets is group norms. Okay, and that is where emotional intelligence starts. You're okay. Maybe the child sitting next to you, maybe even the oil the child is applied in his hair, maybe you don't like the smell, but it's okay. You can manage. This is what the child learns. Maybe the child next to you is not giving you place to write. You can manage. So every time a complaint comes, that is the next thing which a teacher can do. Normally in a classroom, one child will complain about another child. Okay, as simple as not giving place or taking my book or making a noise, anything. The rule number 1 is you're not going to devote more than 5 minutes. Rule number 2 is we are going to address as our class. Simple thing a teacher can do is just ask both the children. Tell the child who is complaining to talk to the other child. Ask whatever the child wants. Supposing I want place or whatever, I want this, anything. The child will be having a complaint, right? Let's take an example that I don't have place to write. I need more space. All the teacher has to do is, in her presence, teach the child to communicate. Call the other person by name, whatever, XYZ, please, can you give me more place to sit? Because I'm not able to write. So when the teacher is witness, when the words are very polite, 99% of the time, the other child will respond. Maybe the other child will give something. So the teacher is teaching conflict resolution. That is again emotional intelligence. And the teacher is not taking sides. She's just asking, what do you want? What do you want? Ask each other. with please. You ask the other child, please, can I have this? The other child will also say, please, I will. Then the teacher is saying, yeah, fine, now it is resolved. And if it is not resolved, switch their places. That's it. But without judging them. So this is how conflict resolution can be implemented in the classroom without wasting time. The teacher should not waste time. Okay, the 5 minutes time they should always know. And grouping, another thing which comes in classroom, any projects they do or any games they play, all right, when the teacher does grouping, it should always be on a very general basis. Simple things like, give numbers to all the, like, if at all, divide the class into as many groups as you want. And put number. For example, if it is a classroom of 40, you need to make 8 groups. All the teacher has to do is write 1 to 5, 8 times, make it into a chit thing and ask all the kids to take one chit. All 1 will be one group, all 2 will be one group. So every time the teacher groups a class, it has to be very, very impartial. The child should never have a reason to complain that, oh, maybe the teacher is not judging, but the child may feel. We don't know that. So there is no question for any kind of ill feelings over there. There are lots of ways teacher can group also in a nice way. And once they group, okay, the next thing the teacher for EQ, like every child should get a chance to become a leader. Okay, what happens? The leader is going to push the gap group. Now the child is not submitting the homework. Simple. Okay, the teacher has divided the class into 8. 5, 5, 5. So this week, this person ensures that all your team is completing the homework. So they are talking to each other. They are helping each other. Have you done it? So that momentum will start. And then the leaders change. So every child gets a chance. So they talk to each other. So what happens? Within the group, there is a unity. The 5 are now together. Then you mix and match the group. Like that, you bring the entire class as one. Everybody is okay talking to each other in a very uniform way. And the next thing the teacher can easily do is how to make the child participate in class. The moment child's voice is heard in class, the child is part of the class. The child's voice, the child should hear its own voice in the classroom. 20% of the children are very active. They'll answer all the answers, like, they are always jumping up. That child should learn how to give way to other child. Okay, and the silent child should also hear its own voice. So the teachers can easily give options. Whenever you ask the child to perform, you either say you can come here and say, or you can write and read it. The third option is you can tell me, I will be your voice. So these 3 steps, the child will slowly cross over. Maybe initially the child will tell the teacher. Then you can slowly give the child the encouragement to write and read. And then it comes to read. Rather than pushing the child or compelling the child to perform, we should make it easier for the child. The goal is how to bring them into the classroom. So all these small strategies are the stepping stones for emotional intelligence. Because when the teacher follows these kind of strategies, the teacher is kind of reflecting a very confident and calm person to the as a confident and calm person to the teacher, to the student. So the sense of belongingness will set. So once they get the sense of belongingness, once they are ready to accept that group norms are to be followed, when they enter into society, they will be ready to follow group norms. Because the need of the hour now is to accept group. Because whatever it is, social media and everything is having its pros and cons. Let us accept change. Let us embrace it. Understand the disadvantages and do what is needed. We do have our strengths. How do we just integrate that? So whatever they are doing on Facebook, let it all continue. In the classroom, we can create magic. Okay, anything. Less dependency on, ideally, less dependency on wasting natural resources. Okay, the teachers should start it over there. Only then every child would understand that, natural resources are to be respected. Like for anything, not necessary that they have to make a project, pen and paper, take a printout, not necessary. A simple blackboard, the whole class is divided into groups. Their creativity would come out, right? On the blackboard also, you can make them do it. So the teachers should think in that way. Wherever possible, natural resources are not depleted, but the child participation is more important, because even if they have to copy, just think about it, even a 10th standard student, okay, or a high school student, why should, like, they can also submit a project in the classroom on the blackboard. So what happens? There is no cut, copy, paste. You need to learn something. Okay, then you're performing, because it is like, theater performance. So even if you're copying from somewhere, at least you are remembering it and then bringing it out. There is some form of learning happening over there. So a mixed bag approach, definitely good work. Wherever possible, impromptu, in the classroom, in groups, get the children to act, get the children to perform. Whatever they have learned, even if they are taking a class or explaining it, fine. So every child gets a chance. So this is how we can integrate EQ with IQ in the classroom. Now, before I conclude, if at all we reflect back, okay, our old education system, all the big royal families, why were they sending the prince, like, the prince and princess, to Gurukul? They can recreate the same atmosphere in the palace. Like, the guru can be brought to the palace. If at all it is about the children learning in a very subtle environment, or without any luxury, they can recreate even that. But it was never done. All the children went and learned with the teacher in the teacher's house, away from everything. Normally it is in the forest, because the ground rule for learning is, basically, learning does not need any luxury. If you're learning, if you're actually learning, you will never ever realize that you're going through difficulties. That panka nahi hai, I'm feeling hot, I'm feeling cold, I cannot sit down. Nothing will come if actual learning is happening. Because learning is something wherein you connect within yourself. So that is why we have the Gurukul system. Because the child is not thinking about anything else, it's only about education. Okay, the sensory organs are active. There is no distraction. There is uniformity among all the children, whether you're the prince or a Brahmin, or, like, whatever, or the trader's son. In earlier system, it was only the Varnas. So everybody used to go same place, same type of education, but they all used to get it at the same time. So education does not require any kind of gadgets and luxury. It just requires a learning environment. Okay, parents can do it from home. A teacher can create magic in the classroom. All the teacher needs is a blackboard and a chalk, and the confidence that this is our class and there are group norms which the teacher should be aware of. The teacher should be thorough about the group norms. As a class, how am I going to mold this class? What are the values which I want them to learn? So this way, EQ can be integrated into a classroom. Yes, thank you. So if at all there are any questions, I'm ready to answer that as well.
Wonderful. It was actually in-depth perspective, considering how I just love the part that you spoke about the royal family and the royal kind of a learning. They also go to the teachers. We also going to the teachers. Nothing is different. Every child needs a teacher, irrespective from where they come from. Whether they come from the less privileged background, whether they come from a royal family. Without teachers, the education system cannot function. And exactly. But you spoke about how things can be blended and implemented, and what kind of strategies and techniques can be used in a very simple way. The approaches are needed in a very simple way, which is not there in the teacher training institutes also. So I think it was a complete roadmap in education. You focused on crucial aspects of what is actually needed. So we will go on to the second round of the question, what is there? And moving next to my next speaker, I think Nahid sir. I would like to invite Nahid sir, is a principal, and having a more broader outlook on what the current education system functions as. Welcome, Nahid sir. Welcome on this first session of 2024 on this wonderful topic of roadmap in education. You start from here. What kind of a roadmap you need to create for this year, and how educators should chart a wonderful roadmap in education. Over to you, sir. Sir, you're mute. You're mute.
Very good evening. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. And Happy New Year to you all. My sincere gratitude to Sonal ma'am for providing frequent opportunity to me. Right. And I feel better and happier to be part of Metamorphosis. And right. And Not only I am benefited, no, people around me are benefited due to this. My sincere thanks, gratitude and salutation to ma'am that ma'am gives opportunity time and again. And very good topic ma'am has given me today. Right, schools are roadmaps to future. Indeed, schools are. Why? Why are school? Because first of all, I define education. Education is a process, and everything is a process. Today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Since we are talking about future, in future also small processes will always be there. So we need to create system, and system is created in our brain, and they are converted into habits. So which habits are to be inculcated and formed? Of course, the system which carries us towards values. Right, my ideal is Nelson Mandela, because he loved humanity. So my values are towards humanity. My ideal is Mahatma Gandhi. Why Mahatma Gandhi? Because he served the people. So service is my value. Martin Luther King is my ideal, because he served downtrodden. Right, and he was outstanding orator and public speaker. So my values are such. So what is to be done in classrooms to first of all discover the values children have, discover and help children to discover their why. So how will become very easy. Habits, values, and of course knowledge. Knowledge is currency, knowledge is capital. The more knowledge we have, the better problem solving skills we have. Apart from that, we need to develop appropriate skills. Skill sets are required. So schools are doing wonderful job. As ma'am has stated, that how learning takes place, how can I help you? Child should not be expelled from the classes. These all must be the part and parcel of the class and of the school. Right? Schools are doing amazing task, amazing job in developing children throughout the world. Right? And today's and these tomorrow's citizens, they must have independent thinking. How can independent thinking be developed? And schools are doing it wonderfully. When collaboration takes place in the classes, and collaboration will come through social skills, emotional skills, emotional intelligence ma'am talked about, because they are related to wisdom. Right, and knowledge and wisdom, addition is knowledge, subtraction is wisdom, I always say. Right, so wisdom is to be developed and inculcated. How can we develop wisdom? We should read books. Children cannot read books, so children read teachers, children read parents. As the model, children will become. If teachers are self-discipline, children will become self-disciplined. We need not to say to be disciplined at home. If we are disciplined, we are punctual, we are regular, we are respecting others. Why we children not respect? What does he? They will follow. So habits are formed in such manner. So schools are doing wonderful job, and they are creating good roads. Right, uh, right, and personal excellence is achieved in the classrooms. And when teacher is excellent, excellence is transferred to students. So we need to know ourselves, as Socrates rightly said, know thyself. First of all, we should understand ourselves, then children will understand ourselves. We should teach ourselves, children will teach themselves, right? So education must be autonomous, education must be independent. And yes, in future, people would be working in collaboration. Even if work from home is there, you will have to buy things, you will have to put on good clothes, you will have to have good food, you will have to buy vegetables. So collaboration is very much required. How can collaboration takes place? When we are preparing children for future, so collaboration takes place and is materialized and crystallized in the classes when projects are given in groups. Please do not think that if students are there in primary class and senior classes, then only, even if child is 5 years old, one child persuade other child, do not cry, your mother will come, your father will come to school, please have your lunch. Children persuade, they develop their persuading skills, social skills. And right before literacy skill, we should try to develop social skills, because children feel comfortable with teachers. And before communication, we should try to connect with this, with children, with students, right? So schools are doing wonderful job. And yes, the curiosity is generated amongst children. Why? Because children are coming from various backgrounds, various perspectives. What is creativity? Creativity is to see the thing with different perspective. Same is inculcated in schools, because teachers, right, are learning from their mentors, from their trainers, right? Trainers are also playing very important role in this regard. And when they are transferring good things, creativity is transferred, enthusiasm is transferred. Same enthusiasm reflects in the classes, and children learn and they start applying, because children are uh, good in application, they are good in technology, right? So problem solving skills are generated and fostered in the classes, right? Adaptability, see, knowledge is fine. After knowledge, children develop their opinion. When the firm opinion is there, right? So we try to maintain a status quo, right? But when children are bringing new values to the classes, so adaptability and adaptability, they develop, and children are ready for future, right? So future is there in the classes. You can reflect that how our future is going to happen. If we see the students, we the children, the quality of education imparted, so we can see the what would be happening in the future, and how robust our democracy would be, how people would be interacting with each other, right? So teachers are using technology in the classes. So children, anyhow, even they are not using, they see, they observe, they experience that how my teacher is doing, and same is slowly is converted into the habit, and children start using technology. And yes, soft skills, if you are communication skills are fine, your students communication skills fine, right? If you have good resilience, children have good resilience. So we need to have resilience, good communication skills, and yes, listening skills, speaking skills, public speaking skills. So when these all skills are imparted in school, because through literature, through different subjects, right? So these things are imparted. So children develop these soft skills, and in their higher classes, they develop their technical skills. When balance is there, so future is formed in a very good manner, and children are ready, right? Because they start loving each other, they start liking each other, they exchange their lunch during lunch recess time. And yes, I'm very happy that children have confliction also. When confliction is there, other children are coming in the picture, and they are in the reconciliation and negotiation process also. So many things are happening, right? So we can say that they are in the castle, right? And the principal is the mayor in the school, and lot many things are happening. Aunts are there, teachers are there, like parents are coming, children are observing everything. And not only these things, but children observe that how sepals are planted in school, how design is there, how redesigning is there, how swings are installed in the school, how library is coming, and which book is read by our teacher, which book is properly browsed and screened by principal. They observe everything, and how tea is served, how water is served, how many time it is served. I feel that children are observing anything, everything, sorry, and they have it, and their brain consciously and unconsciously, formally and informally working, and they are indeed very much ready through the services of schools, through teachers, through aunts, through drivers. How are they driving? How are they? How many times are they right? Blowing horns and everything they observe, and many a times they have interaction with us, and they tell very good things, because they are more advanced. They are born in different era, because they are digital natives also, right? So lot many things are happening. So basically it is a well-knit society in a school, and that tomorrow again they are going to society, so society would be very easy for them. And I wish to congratulate all the teachers, right? In my conclusion, that all the teachers are doing wonderful job, and right, and yes, if they learn more, they can teach better and they can teach more. If they are getting things more, they're having proper input, and output could be better if they are in very good robust process. So if process is fine, because they would be working also at home also, there are lot many processes. And we need not to evaluate children on the basis of their marks and ranks, right? On the basis of their behavior, on the basis of their curiosity, on the basis of their communication skills, and how are they behaving with others, right? How are they listening? How much empathy are they developing? So these all things, making together, forming together, and assessing together, children are in very good right hands, and schools are working very hard, right? And day in and day out, teachers are working hard, and Sonal ma'am is working doubly hard. That is right, tenfold than us. That she is making us happier through this good. Right, we are getting good inputs from her, and we are applying in school. I apply. Right, and our teachers are also getting means benefit of it. Today, what happened? I give one task to know specimen selection of the books. Right, some books were there, so it was done wonderfully. When we give freedom to people, no liberty to people, they work better, autonomy. And when we respect, and we not only restrict this respect to teachers, no, students should also be respected. They should never be humiliated. They should never be expelled from the class, as ma'am Sri Vidya ma'am said. No, so all the things putting together, I wish to say that thank you, ma'am, for giving such opportunity and giving good topics. And I salute you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nayat sir, for your, I will say, experiential based input, what is actually needed. And it's not a topic, I will rather say. I think we are just opening the chapters which are required in the teaching industry. When we talk about the corporate industry, the chapters are different. When we talk about the teaching industry, the chapters are different. But here, what is not there in the teacher training institutes, whether you talk about B.Ed, whether you talk about the 6-month EC course, whether you talk about the 1-year diploma courses, these kind of things are not there. And NEP 20 is becoming difficult for all the new age educators as well as the old ones who are trying to adopt some kind and blending them. So we are actually trying to open the chapters of NEP and making work easier for the parents as well as for the teachers ahead. There are so many schools international, they will say we are technologically advanced. We don't need that. We don't need that. We need, if we are not able to apply the knowledge that we have in the right manner for the right purpose, nothing can happen. So teachers need to be made aware, like Shividya ma'am said, and like you spoke, the right approaches have to be taken in order to blend exactly in the classroom the right things, and the right things has to be taken into consideration through parents in the house. You cannot say the teacher teaching in a classroom and the parent can take that and start teaching in the home. No. Teacher teaches as per the infrastructure provided to her in the school. The parent will use that kind of a technique, blend it in such a way and start using that at home. So when both the things combine to form a cumulative package of the target being one, the method being different, the child picks up those kind of two different versions, and the same way he starts applying in the society. If you take a 3-year-old child and show about the farmer and talk about the farmer, he will just visualize, okay, my teacher has spoken, my father has spoken. But unless and until you take them to field visits, show them the farmer, show them the hardships of the farmer, not to be fussy in food, eat whatever is given on your platform. Nowadays, everyone is talking about gratitude. It's not only just saying gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude has more deeper meaning. If you're not able to respect the person while giving the gratitude will not be manifested. The respect has to come from the heart. We have to start teaching from 3 year onwards. कि आपके प्लेट में खाना आया है, आपको उसका थैंक्स बोला है. कोविड में कितने लोगों के पास खाना नहीं था. So many parents, so many people have experienced the death of the loved ones, short life, diseases. So what is the exact cause of all this? So start using them in teacher training institutes, start using them in the classroom. So it's not that we are trying to change the religion or anything. We are just trying to change the teaching pattern. We are trying to help the child pick up the learnings in a small way, 1/4 fraction from here, 1/4 fraction here, so that he is able to implement in the right way in the society. अगर पेरेंट्स वैसे बिहेव करेंगे, द चाइल्ड विल डबली बिहेव इन द सेम वे कि आपने ऐसे घर पे किया, मैंने वहां पे यही किया. टीचर को वो देखेगा, टीचर स्टाफ रूम में कुछ और है, क्लासरूम में कुछ और है, तो वो टीचर के बारे में डबल इमेज बनाएगा कि मैं कौन से टीचर का जो मैंने देखा है वो अपनाऊं. तो वो एक डबल पैकेज हो जाता है. सो रोड मैप टू एजुकेशन इज how are we creating ourselves as human beings with the right knowledge, with the right application for the right purpose? That is the roadmap to education. So both of you have actually spoken with your perspective, and coming back to Srividya ma'am for the second round.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
do you think? What do you think, Srividya ma'am, when you interact with parents, and what are the actual, I will say, problems faced by the parents now after pandemic?
Okay. The first and foremost problem faced by the parent is they have already decided in their mind that, okay, there are some changes already happening to changes have already happened because of pandemic for my child. Okay, children are like sponge. Okay, so pandemic, they adjusted it that way. The moment you bring them back to the normal situation, they have adaptability and resilience is great. Okay, they will come back if we allow them, just give them time and just leave it like that. Automatically the transition is going to happen. But whereas because of the fear, it kind of, that is the resistance, I would say. There is a fear. It is not that they do it intentionally, but there is a fear. Unfortunately, social media and all the readings and so many things, okay, because of pandemic, this one set of kids are facing all these problems. You read all these things, okay, the fear sets in. So the biggest challenge a parent is facing is the fear, or rather, as the new gen calls, FOMO, fear of missing out. Did my child miss out something because of the pandemic? Okay, so the first thing probably educational institutions can bring about is an awareness among parents that, okay, what is done, the child has not missed much. It can always learn. Okay, it is not as if that was just a piece. So it is not a, whatever you say, it's not a disadvantage for the entire life of it. Whatever we had to do at that time, we did it. The child has the ability to make up.
Definitely.
This is the strength which we need to give it to the parents.
Definitely. Wonderful. So nice, coming to you with you are an educator and a principal in the school. So when you compare yourself at home, have you experienced such a moment when your children must have asked कि आप करते हो तो ठीक, हम करें तो गलत? Have you experienced such kind of a situation, and what is the solution that you take when you are posed such a question? Because children are children, वो जो देखेंगे वो सवाल पूछेंगे, है ना? So when you think about this moment that मेरे बच्चे ने ये सवाल मुझे घर पे पूछा, हाँ मैं गलत था, आप रिफ्लेक्ट करोगे मैं गलत था या आप सही थे, आप उसको एक्सप्लेन करोगे कि मैं सही क्यों था, depending on the age of the child. Number one. Number two is when you reflect and when you go to the school in the morning, the same thing travels with you. What happened during the day or at night, and how you as a principal will use this kind of a technique so that teachers are aware that yes, children will definitely ask you certain kind of questions as a parent. So as educators, you have to be careful of these things. What are those things that I would like to hear from you?
Yeah, very, very, very good question. And ma'am, I am extremely lucky father, very lucky father, very, very lucky father.
That's
And
right.
I am lucky son also, very
Wonderful.
fortunate, and lucky husband also. Means God has gifted me multiple things.
Okay.
My children never asked reason being, because they are very, very good in studies, ma'am. My daughter is studying in 11th class. She is exceptionally gifted orator.
Okay.
She
Wonderful.
has been, she is titled Orator of the Zone 2023.
Wonderful.
Again, on 17th, she is going to appear in that competition. And I repeatedly say, it is not because of me. It is because of my father. He is very workaholic. He is in his 70s, means very strong person, very inspiring person. And right, and my wife's English is also very good. Right, I slowly developed. My English is not as good as at my home. My better half speaks very good and simple English. And my daughter is studying in very good school, because my purpose is to get my children educated well. Right, ma'am? So I have never been posed this question. And yes, I work hard and I don't want to be different in school and at home, because I am from very moderate background. And I thought, generally we read, people have worked very hard due to their mistakes. They have come back to square one. No. I consciously try not to commit any mistake, and I am extremely sincere in my job, ma'am. Extremely sincere. And particular also. Means if you want to ask no what is to be happen 1 year from now, next March. So I have proper planning for 2 years. Day wise planning I have, right? And everything has been done for school. Means all preparations have been done for annual examinations. So I am very sincere. And why sincere? Because if you are different person and pretending to be different, so no,
Exactly.
lot many things are to be remembered. Why to remember? Why to have bagas, right? So I work very sincerely. Once I was telling my mother, if we are working, energy is consumed. If we are not working and explaining, then energy is consumed. So my mother told, then when you are not working and explaining, energy is consumed more. So why not to work? Right? So I work very sincerely, right? And at my home, there is no confliction. Children are studying very well, and I am very happy. And what I think for my children, I am thinking children of the school also. In the same manner, right? Sometime I very harsh with the students, because they must develop, because my school is located in farming area, and you know their hardships. They are working very hard. So, and how are they submitting fees? So keeping in my mind, I also work very hard, and it is my rule that first hour of the day, I must return the value of my salary to the management, that I do in the morning itself. If we are getting 10 rupees and working for 100 rupees, what is the harm? We are developing, we are shining, we are forming opinion, and we are not aging. We are getting younger. So putting all this together, right? I'm working very hard, right? And yes, I have one right my bucket list that this is to be done, this is not to be done, right? So unproductive work I'm not doing. I'm doing productive work also only, and I am requesting teachers to do productive work only. Pareto principle I work on. So productive work is going on. See, but there are some things which are repeated every session. Exams are to be conducted, activities are to be carried. So we should prepare system for that. System for that. So productivity would be very high. And please, ma'am, believe in my school, children speak in English only. Even parents on nursery class are appreciating teachers that all are speaking English because they are paying for it. And we are not punishing anyone that you are not speaking English. They are speaking English themselves. And I 100% speak in English only in school, right? So since we are paying value, and if we, generally I read Steve Jobs, he says that customers don't know what is to be paid. So we should try what is required. We should try to over deliver, and I try to over deliver. Right, so things are going smooth. If I'm not working and explaining, then self-respect is minimized. Right, sir, this happened. I will have to answer to management because they have put in crores of rupees. They will not ask that why this happened, why this happened. So I feel that before they ask, I should do my work, and I should do everything right, and everything is done very smoothly. So at home also I am happy, and at in school I am happy. You can say that my hard work and sincerity. I'm very hardworking person, and I will remain hardworking, ma'am. And I never commit. If I commit anything, I do. And if parents are telling any complaint, that this complaint is there, I jot down, I remove that, sort out that complaint, and then I inform parents that this has been done. If sir you are not satisfied, please tell. So parents are happy. Parents are happy. No, that not only they are listened, but it is that problem is sorted out. I am problem solver.
Wonderful. So wonderful. That is what I wanted to hear, because I love the lines. If you are not what you are and you pretend to be what you are not, it creates a double narrative. ना आपको नींद आएगी, ना आपको चैन आएगा. So it's like, I remember, I think my dad used to tell me that the more you hide your real self just to satisfy the other person in the society, you won't get a good night's sleep. And you will be adding one or the other every day to hide your real self. So it's better to be what you are, rather than the media starts creating narratives about you. And that is what is needed in the education system. आप जो हो वैसे रहो, society वैसे ही फिर आपको देखेगी. That is the first education. That is the first road map to education. Be what you are, irrespective of your flaws, irrespective of your imperfections, irrespective of you being aware or having a knowledge or no. For example, if we are talking about early childhood education and we don't have a knowledge of robotics, we start talking on robotics, it's a misfit in the society. Everyone will say, okay, Shividya ma'am is just early childhood educator and she's talking about robotics with no knowledge of robotics. Myself, if I say I'm a child counselor or a child psychologist talking about NASA, so okay, you may have a brief idea, but to empower the person who has to carry a track record of learning and to make it a career, we are creating a wrong channel for the person if we have don't right knowledge for the other person. So many schools are mushrooming with small kinds of play school, mother toddler school, just to create business, just to create time pass. I think we need a good education system, and that is where the 2024 journey starts. Roadmap in education with two amazing speakers over here. And before we end, I think thank you to both of you for saying yes to the first session of this, and over to many more ahead, many more challenges ahead. रुकेंगे नहीं हम. So I conclude with this lines. The vision for public education needs to be updated and reinvigorated to connect enduring values to contemporary challenges. Understanding that states hold the constitutional mandate that guarantees public education in 2022, the Aspen Institute Education and Society program invited a group of regionally, politically, radically, and ethically diverse state policymakers to explore where their visions converge with an explicit focus on building an agenda that could garner broad bipartisan support. And bipartisan support can be created only when we create perfect roadmaps to education, like we have GPS in mobiles. The same way, we need a proper GPS in the education system with efficient, knowledgeable speakers to create a change, to bring a change. So thank you to both of you for being part of this today's session, and keep inviting, keep sharing, keep making change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So it was a wonderful session. Thanks a lot.